Okay, so in this video we will talk about workplace safety. Workplace safety, why it is important? It is important to protect workers from injury and illness, to lower the illness cost, reduce absenteeism and turnover, increase the productivity and quality, and raise employee morale. So there are several ways to create a safe working environment. Firstly is to provide a proper safety training to the employee, using a protective safety equipment, reporting unsafe working condition, practicing correct posture whenever they are doing their job, and also have an easy access to exits in case of emergency like fire hazard or anything. So there is also an important things in this chapter. It's about accident response. There's two types of accident response. Firstly to the customer and secondly to the employee. When it comes to customer, firstly we should show compassion, and next avoid a statement that we accept that responsibility. Third is to check for the injuries of the customer. Avoid committing to payment of medical expenses, and obtain an incident report form, and capture the evidence, and lastly cooperate with the claim investigations. And when it comes to the when it comes to the employee must be prepared, and the reason immediately after the injury where get worker to a safe place, assess the situation and assist the injured, and also get the information and keep the evidence. Next is to follow through with paperwork and communication, and lastly know what to do when an injury becomes a lawsuit. This is the response that must be implemented whenever there is accident that happen in the area. So as we can see here, Max Haskins is a principal with Practical Safety Solution LLC and certified as a safety professional. So whenever there's an accident happens, you must take control at the scenes and try to restore order as a staff, and also actually as a person in charge on that time. The person in charge must be assured the first aid and call for emergency service directly, like in Malaysia you call 999, and provide immediate care if you are qualified to do, or have someone else call for help, or because sometimes there is a medical assistant that's around, a doctor or even a nurse that around go to shops. So next, there should be to control a potential secondary accidents, where like denying access to people who don't need to be on the scenes, or even make sure that everything is already out of the danger situation, and preserve the physical evidence like taking picture of the ladder or whatever that's regarding to the accident. And for the additional steps, the person in charge can evaluate how bad the loss is and make an appropriate notification to the upper head so that they know what's happening in the shop. So next we will talk about fire safety in the retail shop. So fire can be happen in any time without, even when the shop is closed. There also a potential where the fire occur. So one of the steps to the fire safety in the retail shop is to install a protection system like an alarms where whenever there is fire occur, the alarm will siren that make everyone aware and quickly evacuate the building towards going to the exit, the safety place that's already have been planned before. And there are also implement of the first picture is actually a smoke detector. Whenever there is smoke detect, so it will cause the alarm to be functioning. And next is the sprinklers. When the fire occur, the sprinkler will put out water to padam, to close the fire. And next we have an extinguisher, that place an easy place to get that, and every staff must know how to handle it. It's important to know how to handle a fire extinguisher, so even putting a small instruction will be helpful whenever there is emergency that happening. So lastly, for fire safety, it is important to have an inspection and regular testing on all these devices that used for the protection, because sometimes when they are like the smoke detector is not working, whenever there is smoke, it can cause you a very big loss. So it is important to have these tools in your shop in order to prevent a bigger loss to the retail shop. So that's all for workplace